Hello, my name is Ian, and today I'm going to be talking about the process of othering in the video game Celeste. So there's two things I'd like to define before we start. What is othering and the game Celeste? Othering is when someone separates oneself from something, typically a group. It can be thought of as an antonym of belonging, where belonging is acceptance of differences and coming together for good. Othering is alienation and dehumanization. It can happen when people think thoughts of or say things like, they're not like me, they're different. It negates an individual's humanity and makes them seem less worthy of respect. Now, Celeste is a story-based platformer released in 2017, released by Maddie Makes Games on consoles and PC. The game is about a girl named Madeline who strives to climb Celeste Mountain. She embarks on the climb because she wants to get out of her own head and leave some personal baggage behind. I will be talking about the process by which Madeline others herself and manifests a whole nother being called Part of Madeline, or Part of You, since the player can change Madeline's name. Just for clarity, I'll be referring to the protagonist as Madeline and the antagonist as Part of Madeline or Part of Her. So let's dive a little bit more into how Madeline creates the other of herself. She is facing anxiety and stress when she comes to Celeste Mountain in the first place. We know this because at the beginning of the game, someone, so known who, tells her, "This is it, Madeline, just breathe. Why are you so nervous?" As she begins to climb, she meets Theo, a fellow adventurer, and tells him, "I've got a lot on my mind." Madeline also wrestles with self-doubt early in the game after a near-death experience when she says, "This might have been a mistake." As the plot progresses and you work through the game, Madeline falls asleep and finds a mirror in her dream. She sees a different person, not quite herself, in the reflection. This person has a purple jacket, pale white skin, and red eyes, somewhat resembling Madeline, but not quite the same. This being then breaks through the mirror and reveals itself as part of Madeline. Now, I want to point out here that part of Madeline appears in a mirror, reflecting a way that Madeline sees herself. As the plot progresses, part of Madeline speaks with doubt, worry, and pessimism, telling Madeline to give up the climb and go back home. Part of Madeline has always been inside of her, and the mountain's mystical properties simply brought her out. As we go through the game's story, we learn that part of Madeline is a piece of Madeline that has felt ignored and disregarded as she has gone throughout her life. Madeline has been othering this part of herself long before coming to Celeste Mountain. Part of Madeline reveals that she just wants to be seen and heard and recognized in Madeline's life. Now I'd like to talk about the power dynamic between Madeline and part of her. Madeline tries to dismiss the part of Madeline, waving her off and saying, "I don't need you. You're the worst part of me." Madeline tries to stay on top and hide this part of her away, just ignoring it and pushing on to the summit. And towards the end, Madeline comes to a false realization that she needs to just leave this part of her behind, to leave it at the mountain and never see it again. Maybe she can gain something in this part of the climb in this way. And this makes part of Madeline so angry that she lashes out and drags Madeline all the way down to the bottom of the mountain, resetting their climb. Part of Madeline wants to be seen, heard, and recognized, and Madeline realizes that she was wrong, and that the way to move forward is to accept this part of herself. This is a very powerful and culminating moment in the game, and the music takes a dramatic, punchy shift. It starts incorporating themes from other areas in the game as the two combine, and they work together to climb the mountain. They get all the way to the summit, and Madeline accepts this part of herself, and part of Madeline tries to see things from Madeline's perspective. At the climax of the game, they make it to the summit, and Madeline agrees to listen to this part of herself more often. Madeline overcomes her othering of herself and accepts that seeing the whole person is vitally important. In conclusion, the game Celeste, the main character Madeline comes to terms with a part of herself that at first she did not like. As she fights with this part of herself and grapples with it, she learns to accept herself and becomes kinder to others in the process. Celeste is a very impactful game that incorporates othering, anxiety, fear, and depression, which are very difficult topics to discuss. But Celeste does it well. Its overall message is one of acceptance. Personally, I believe that by getting to know someone at a deep level, you can appreciate them as a whole. In this way, the process of othering can be overcome. This discussion reminds me of a quote from Prince Zuko in Avatar: The Last Airbender. He says, "You must look within yourself to save yourself from your other self. Only then will your true self reveal itself." So by looking inward and appreciating the humans that we are, we can recognize that everyone has struggles and battles. This is undeniable. And we can gain understanding and empathy by looking inward. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this thought-provoking, and take care.